Hey, you found us. Welcome home to Center for Spiritual Living. We understand that you can't sit here in these chairs and be with us for everything that we do in the world, but we still want you to be part of our community. I want you to know that you're making a difference. With every challenge you meet, with every thought that you change, you contribute to the value of life on this planet. You're part of this higher vision. Click the Contribute button today and continue being the difference. And remember, what you give here, what you give to others, returns right back to your life, multiplied abundantly.
There was a time when I thought I could do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was in heaven. And now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Hello everyone, how's everybody doing? I see you're still smiling even though it's raining. Everybody had good holidays, great Thanksgivings, you're still nice and full and angry at yourselves because you ate a whole lot? That's quite alright. You ready to stand up and sing these songs? Yes. Or this song? Come on, let's sing it with me. I really and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I would like to welcome Miss Tony Gates.
Please live their life. Now good morning, CSL. Take two. People are going to consider that my fault because I just directed you out here and I was wrong. Well, that's okay. I just wanted to say good morning anyway. So thanks,
Do you want to sing together? We can sing together now.
Okay.
I bet you know this one, probably.
Yes, you do.
You want to go for it?
Okay.
Watch, he's going to know it because you are going to know it.
Maybe, but tongues unfamiliar.
Well, you did good.
That was a long rehearsal right there. Now that I'm 10 pounds lighter. Good morning, CSL. I am privileged to be the presider this morning. For those of you who are new, I welcome you, and also my name is Tom Jacobs. For those of you who already know me, my name is still Tom Jacobs. Hey, it's a beautiful day, even if it is raining. We could use a little sunshine, but your faces in here bring that to this place. We never want that to go unsaid. We appreciate it, and we're still filled with gratitude. Even though Thanksgiving is over, it continues day after day, right?
Right.
We typically have a core value, which we present every Sunday. The core values are listed there on the wall, but today's core value happens to be service. Very powerful. Service is I mean, what's the point of any spiritual practice is that if there isn't some type of service to help shift, change, improve, and enhance the world? I remember the first time that I ever really wanted to help the world. I wasn't so much inspired necessarily by a religious inspiration. My inspiration early on was Superman. Remember him, man? I watched every episode in the 60s, especially, and 70s, and looked at the magazines, and he was my hero. In fact, if you talk to my family, they will tell you I was fanatical about Superman. What was so cool, not just the flying, or that bullets would bounce off his chest or x-ray vision, he really wanted to help. But the cool thing was, it was a secret identity, you know? Clark Kent, mild managed reporter, nobody knew that underneath his shirt and tie, he was Superman. I was so enticed, this really happened to that story. I went to church one Sunday. I had a Superman suit on underneath my shirt tie. Really, I made the S on the t-shirt, and I had a terry cloth towel going down my back as a cape, pinned to the shirt. It was a hot summer day. I had my shirt and tie over it, my sport coat. I was in an unair-conditioned church, but I was ready to help. I literally was scanning the church if anybody needed me. I was ready to peel off the clothes and be Superman. And what's ironic about the story is that is the story of service at its core. Underneath our appearance, there is a super being, a male and a female. It's ready to help, it's ready to serve, it's ready to shift people from low to high, from sad to happy, or just to hold and comfort. And it is also a power within us to change and shift and improve this world. That is the beauty of service, and it's happening in you and in me. If you are new, as I said earlier, welcome to CSL, if this is your first Sunday especially, and we're really glad you're here. We have a couple of announcements and a fantastic tradition that we have if you're looking over here at the holiday tree. This is CSL's project of the year. We do this every year. There are different families on each of these paper ornaments, and if you come up and pick one off the tree, then go out and purchase or make or create the little gift that's printed on there. Bring it back here by December 13th, and we will help deliver these gifts to each of the families that are listed on each ornament. We'd like you to wrap the gift and leave the ornament on top of the wrapped paper so we can see who it goes to. We're also helping a couple of organizations. If there's an organizational ornament that you pick, you don't have to wrap it at all. We'll just deliver it. And it's to Passages and also to Habitat for Humanity. Those are the two organizations. So it's a great tradition. We'd like you to come and start picking off the tree to see what you'd like to give to. Okay? The only other announcement here is that in your seats, this is the final Sunday to nominate a nonprofit organization. CSL every year picks two organizations in which we contribute 10% or we tithe to them, either in money or in some of our volunteers helping them. And we don't help the ones until you vote for who they are. This is the last Sunday to vote. And then if you would, you can put your ballot in the little giving basket as it comes by, or you can drop it on the table in the back where it says volunteers needed. Okay? Now, why don't we stand to our affirmation and we greet each other and enjoy this service. We are
a diverse spiritual community expressing God as love.
Hey friends, this is the last thing. Next Saturday, if you're not doing anything Saturday evening, I'm going to, it's funny that Lee asked me to sing, I'm going to actually have a concert next Saturday. It is at the White Theater at 115th and Knoll, and it's our Timber Creek benefit concert. And we have an 8-piece ensemble. I'm singing, Marquez is on the piano, but we've got cello, violin, flute, oboe, hammer, dulcimer, string, bass, beautiful music. Here's the information on the wall. If you want to come to that concert, you can see me afterwards. I've got tickets here, and we'd beautiful evening, and this is the 27th year that we have given this concert, so we're starting to get better and better. We welcome you to that, and also here today, enjoy CSL. Thank you for coming.
Well, good morning, CSL. Good morning. How are we today? Stuffed like a turkey? So, listen, one of the things that keeps me excited about life is the creative process. I'm absolutely fascinated by the art of creation and the people who make up things just out of thin air. I mean, making up stuff out of thin air, especially my tax accountant. I'm really appreciative of, if you work for the IRS, that's just a joke. Seriously, it blows my mind that people can just take notes, like composers can just take notes and create these great symphonies, and writers can use the same words that we all have access to, but put them together in sentences that profoundly affect other people's lives and change the world. When I go to a museum, I'm stunned by the way an artist can take the same combination of colors that we all have, but mix them together to create a masterpiece. I can't do that. I mean, how do you get an architect like Frank Gehry? How does that happen? What happens in the mind of a man who wakes up one day and decides to completely renovate or reinvent buildings? How does that happen? I mean, what triggers his creativity? Where did the idea come from to do that? That's what I want to know. The Bible says that all things that are seen come from things that are unseen. It sounds really Zen, doesn't it? Like creating something out of nothing. Did you know that some Hindus call God the great nothing? Did you know that? The great no thing. That which has no form, but from all form comes. You know? That which has no body, but is the spirit that lives inside and houses the body. It's like the ghost inside the machine. Now, typically, when you ask somebody what they think, they'll point to their head like the brain is the resource for their creativity. And when you ask somebody how they feel, they will point to their heart, as though the heart is really the generator of passion or compassion. And yet we know that the brain really is just an operating system, is it not? It's like a 3-pound computer that sends trillions of messages to our bodies, processing information. And the heart, well, you know, basically it's just a pump. I mean, that's really what it does. It's a very good pump, but that's pretty much all that it is. So my question then is, where is the you that makes you you? Where is your personality? Where is that thing that you have that nobody else has, that thing that makes you particular and unique? Where is your creativity? Where do you get your best ideas? Where do they come from? This is what I want to know. If you take a microscope and you look a little closer at your body, you can find that it's made up of atoms. That's pretty much what your body is made of. But if you look inside the atoms, if you look a little closer, then all you really see is energy and motion. The truth is, physically, there's really very little physical matter that makes up a human body. You know, it's mostly just empty space. You know, our bodies are made up of all these trillions of different atoms that are really just energy organized in motion. So there's not really a lot of matter in the matter of our bodies, which makes me feel a lot better considering all the pie I ate this weekend. So where does all this creativity come from that we possess? That's what I want to know. I want to know who's composing the music. Where is the creative genius behind all of our modern inventions? Who's making up all this stuff out of thin air? That's what I want to know. This week, I've been looking, besides eating turkey, I've been looking a little closer at reality, trying to answer this question for you. Where is the you that makes you you? I'm going to find out. There was an artist who conveyed this in a masterful painting that he started when he was just 25 years old. It took him 2 years to create this painting, and perhaps maybe because of its scale, because it's 7 feet tall and it's 10 feet wide. The artist's name is George Seurat, and the painting is A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of Le Grand Jatte. If you want to see the original masterpiece, it's hanging in the Art Institute of Chicago, so you can go up there. So check this out. For whatever reasons, I guess George, 25 years old, decided he woke up one day with a new idea to create art without mixing paint. So all artists before him would take colors and they would mix them together on their palette, and they would work to create the perfect mixture, the perfect tone of color for their masterpiece of work. In the late 19th century, it was the Impressionists that took over the art world. You're very familiar with all those. But George called himself a neo-impressionist. He wanted to do something uniquely different that had never been done in the art world before. He wanted you to use your eyes to be a partner in his work. And so he created out of thin air this new idea, a new technique called pointillism, painting thousands and thousands and thousands of tiny little dots of color, laying them next to each other. So instead of mixing red and blue together to make purple, the perfect purple for his painting, what he would do is paint small dots of red and small dots of blue and lay them next to each other so that when you stand back to look at the painting, your eyes would actually mix the colors together in the illusion of purple. Genius, right? George Seurat said, "Some say they see poetry in my paintings. I see only science." He was merging the art world with science and the new technology, much in the way our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, was trying to marry spirituality with science. So this painting isn't really a painting. It's a collection of dots on a canvas that form a picture in the right perspective when you stand back and look at it, which is kind of what I think you are. A bunch of dots, a bunch of atoms that don't make any sense at all if you look too closely at your life. But if you stand back a bit, from a distance, you can see the story. You can see the art. You can see the essence of who you really are. So reality, what is real and lasting and eternal, is really a matter of perspective than anything. If you look too close, you don't see the picture, but if you stand back a bit, then you can see the full reality. So things as they appear are not as they appear. Cool, huh? I think that's really cool. You can quote me on that, because it sounds really cool. Things as they appear are not as they appear, which might be the reasons why one of the master teachers said that we should not judge by appearances. Appearances. Let's fast forward 150 years. Fast forward 150 years. The modern version of George Seurat's painting is found in your daily life. In every single screen that you look at, including the one you're looking at now. Your iPad, your TV, your computer, your smartphone, all of the images are held together by tiny pixels, small parts of the bigger picture. So a century and a half later, 150 years later, we are really just mimicking in our technology what George Seurat first created in his art. It is amazing. This blows my mind, the insight that this visionary genius had at 25 years old. Emerson says, genius always finds itself a century too early. Perhaps there is genius here among us in this room. Perhaps we are entertaining angels, unaware of our own sacredness and our own holiness. You know what we've been studying this month? The Zen Commandments. That's been our book of the month for our study and our inspiration. As I read through the book, I thought, I need to go back and look at the picture of this author because it's very peculiar. It's a strange little man who wrote this book. And I was trying to figure out who he was. And I figured out later that he's kind of an old hippie. Because this is what he wrote as an explanation for our view of reality. Direct quote from the book. This is what he said. This is why people under the influence of psychedelics sometimes think that everything is melting. They're actually catching a glimpse of the fact that it never solidly existed to begin with. Now, this to me sounds like a man who knows from personal experience with psychedelics. Otherwise, how would he know that? So, here's something to ponder. What if those old hippies who dropped acid in the 60s risked their lives just to see the true nature of reality? What if they were actually pioneers in the consciousness movement? What if their desire to escape reality actually brought them face to face with it? So maybe all that we call real and solid isn't real nor solid. What if everything that we can see is held together by some silent agreement that we all have to maintain these shapes and these forms? And if you and I made a different choice, if we stood back and said, we don't want this reality, let's choose something different, then everything would dissolve before our very eyes and reform in some other view of reality that we all would agree upon. Maybe consciousness is the only creative element of life, and everything else in life is really just fluid until we decide how we want it to be, like those people dropping acid could see that everything is in a fluidic state. You look stunned. The left-brainers love this stuff. Oh, the nerds like me, you're like, yes, give me more. The right-brainers are thinking, I want the pictures back. Where are the pretty pictures? I want to see the picture. Where's the picture again? And you relational people are probably thinking, oh, look, there's Jeannie over there. I want to go give her a hug. I know who I'm talking to. No touching. Wait till afterwards. So, what does all this mean? What does all this mean? Well, let me break it down for you and make it personal to you. The stories of your life are like pixels on a screen. Tiny little globs of paint that create a picture. And that means the things that you are proud to tell everybody about you and the things that you are ashamed of that you don't want anyone to find out are nothing more than storylines, little storylines created, directed, and produced by your higher self to reveal something to you about your own power, about your own authority, and about your own potential. And the characters in your story, the characters in every one of these tiny little pixels of stories, that means the protagonists, the ones that you love and adore, and the antagonists, the ones that you want to get rid of and get out of my life, both of them are necessary. One comforts you, and one challenges you. And here's the most important thing to remember. You are not the story. You are the story maker. The story is like that painting by George Seurat. It's a collection of dots, tiny little things that happened in the timeline of your soul. All it is a snapshot of who you once were. So don't get sucked into the drama. Don't define yourself by one little fragment or pixel of your life, or you will end up severely limiting your future. So does that mean that none of it was important, that none of the little stories of my life were significant or important? Or does that mean that all of them sort of form the whole picture of who I am, making them all relevant and important? Is none of it important, or is all of it important? Yes. Yes, none of it is important, and all of it is. And that depends on you, doesn't it? Because you are the one that assigns the value based on what you learned about yourself. So, when you look at your story, the story of your life, from the proper distance, you will begin to, as you stand back in objectivity from the proper distance, begin to see the connections like your eyes would form purple from red and blue. Up close you just see dots, but when you stand back, you begin to see the perspective of your life. And all those tiny dots, those little pixels and those stories of your life will begin to merge, and you will begin to see the full picture of the reality of who you are. And when that happens, you will understand why you had to have that failed marriage. And you will understand why one of your parents didn't love you in the way you really needed to be loved. And you will see why somebody questioned your worth and somebody else betrayed you. You can curse them. You can blame them. You can even use them as an excuse to not be well today. But the truth is, they were partners in your growth all along, and you in theirs. If you use the Bible as a reference and an authority, you will see in Genesis that it says that you have been made in the image and likeness of God. And that really means that you possess the same abilities that God has, in the image and likeness. You have the same creative power to make life, to speak your word, and then things happen. But in this case, the life that you're creating isn't a universe filled with globes. It is your life's experience. It is your own. So the thing that makes you the you that you are is your consciousness. Do you understand? It is your spirit. It is your identity individualized in the universe. That's the ghost inside this machine. And either way, conscious or unconscious, you are creating the entire script of your life's experience. You are creating the entire script, all the little pixels. It is our goal at CSL to be conscious creators. We are awake. We are creative. We are the writers of our own scripts, and as you can see this morning, the stars of our own show. There are no victims here. None. Now, there may be some survivors, but even then, those who have survived hardship will quickly move from surviving disasters to creating dreams. So my invitation this morning is to join us. To keep hanging around here, and you'll see why there's so many smiling faces. You'll find out very quickly that we are a people on a mission. On a mission, together as a spiritual community. Our mission is to change the world and leave it better. Now, just as easily as it is for you to get drawn in and sucked into the drama of your own life and define your worth and value based upon that story and become very discouraged, just as easily as it is for you to do that in your own life, it is so easy for us to do that as we look at the world's drama. It's easy to lose hope in our world and to lose our faith in the kindness of other people. In our 24-hour news cycle of fear and death that keeps recycling the same bloody damn drama, you forget. You forget that there are 7 billion people on this planet that make up the full picture of the reality of what's happening on this blue speck in the universe. Listen to me. This is important. No news program would ever have high ratings or attract advertisers, which, by the way, is their goal. No news program would ever be able to do that if they got on the air and said this: reporting today live, 7 billion people awakened today and did what they needed to do to care for and love their children. 99.99% of them did no harm to themselves or another. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody's going to watch that. So they zoom in to see the drama and the chaos and feed it to you. Remember that when you see the news. It is a micro fragment, a tiny little picture of what's really happening in the greater reality of life on earth. Do not look closely, do not judge quickly. I'm wearing myself out, y'all. So, here's the takeaway from today's lesson. The takeaway: don't do acid. All that for that? You don't need to take drugs to know the true nature of reality. The part of you that makes you who you are, the ghost inside the machine, the part of you that fuels your creative power, is God. That's what it is. It's God in you. It's God as you. It's God through you. And that gives you direct access to the creative genius, the one mind in the universe that is delivering its genius to you all of the time in what you call your idea, what you call your vision, what you call your passion. New ideas are the currency of an infinite mind delivered to all of its creation. That's why it made you. They are given to you as seeds for your prosperity. Plant that seed in a faithful place and it will grow, and you will become more rich and more powerful than you ever could have possibly imagined. And so ends the lesson. Thank you so much. So, our affirmation today is very Zen-like. It's very, very Zen-like. Would you say it with me, please? Everything matters and nothing matters. Life is what it is. We use a capital L here, not because it's the beginning of a sentence, but because it represents the capital L of life, God, Spirit. No matter what you do, no matter what your personal drama or story is, life goes on. The universe continues in order and in love. So let's close our eyes to our current reality. Let's turn away from our problems and our issues and our struggles and our little pixels that we think are so powerful and so big picture important. Let's stop the argument, stop the defense, stop trying to fix, and let's trust that what is good and right and what is holy and what is truly significant about our lives is that presence that lives inside of us. As we turn away from our little stories, we turn to see the big story of our lives, and that is that the greater portion of who you are is well. The greater portion of your life is good. And the power that created you is the same power that sustains you in goodness and has a plan for your future good that will deliver to you a good, a greater good, and an even greater good than that. Let us trust and know that you as an individual and us collectively are on a path, on a journey toward enlightenment that will unfold the greater good for all of us. So no matter what we've lost, no matter what has hurt us, love will win. It always does. No matter what has restricted us, no matter what has tried to limit our prosperity, abundance is the true nature of life, and we will be rich. No matter what has tried to infect us from this world, what has tried to dirty our soul or confuse our minds, has no power, no permanent or lasting presence in our hearts. It's only God. It's only good. And so it is. Let's take some time to be together in spiritual practice this morning and close our eyes and go within. Let's take it a little bit deeper into our souls. Let's just turn away from all the conflict and all that troubles us. Let's leave our problems away from our lives in just a minute. Let's be still and trust.
Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before.
All of the good that we will ever experience does not come from the outside of our lives. It comes from the inside out. And so as we sit together in this peaceful place, this place of love and acceptance, we go deeper and deeper inside our own hearts and our own souls to attach ourselves to the peace that lives within us. Let's restore the peace that lives inside our soul.
Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before.
That's something that calls us into deeper reflection is the same something within us that wants to be loved. It is the same thing within us that wants to be fulfilled and just be happy. That's something that wants to be more fully expressed, that is looking for ease and peace, that is searching. Is the life and the presence of God in you wanting to be let out? Today we've chosen to let it out. To let out the love in our hearts that has been trapped by resentment. To let out the best ideas that our minds can conceive of that have been trapped by fear. To let out the wholeness that lives inside of every cell of our body that has been infected by the world's disbelief. Something is coming out of us, and it is the life of God.
Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before.
And now let's give it some time to catch up with us, so that we can sit in the stillness of the presence of an unopposed power, and the stillness of the presence of peace. So what has called us, we have answered today. And our answer is yes. Yes, it is time for our good. Yes, we believe in it more greatly. Yes, we trust what lives inside of us wanting to be let out. Yes, it's time for God to be revealed, for good to be received. And we are grateful. And so it is.
Truth is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. God is calling me, and I'm grateful like I've never been before.
Friends, if you need support this morning, like I do on the mic, there we go. If you need support this morning with some of the aspects of your life, one of those dots, there's several ways that you can get that assistance and support. There are little prayer requests on the end of each row. You can write down your request, put it in the basket, or you can see a practitioner live after the service to talk with them face to face. We really encourage you to do that for your own support. Also, we thank you for your support here to make this happen. We don't just do it for you, it's actually being done by you that we can do these services. So thank you, whether it's a contribution in the basket or the electronic giving site, or if you're a weekly tither or a committed giver, or just your presence and your volunteerism. We appreciate that. Blessings and namaste.
Creation, all
we made it through that. So, welcome to our guest today. If you are here for the very, very first time, we welcome you. We're happy that you chose CSL as a place to pursue your spiritual growth. And if you'd like to know more about us, it's really easy to do that. All you have to do is see somebody at the front. There's a little information desk, and we'll provide you with more information, written and informed, and we can give you a CD of today's talk if you'd like that. Every year, I like to start the new year off right. I want to be able to be clear on what my intentions are and what I want to do and what I want to create that year. So I invite everybody, all my friends and family, and anybody who wants to come to a New Year's Day workshop. And so this year, January 1st, yes, I will be doing this again. There is no cost to this workshop. What time is it? I don't know yet. Depends on New Year's Eve. I'm doing a wedding that night, so no, I'll let you know the time later. But I just wanted to give you a little pre-planning, so spend some time thinking about what you want to show up in your life, and we'll get together and we'll create it together on New Year's Day. It'll be in the afternoon, I promise. Afternoon, yes. All right, that's all I've got for you, except for you can see this beautiful holiday tree up here, and on it there's a bunch of little ornaments here, paper ornaments, and we have partnered with our community outreach partners, and there's a lot of different things that they are in need of, and their families and friends that we want to support. So if you're so drawn and you like to buy stuff for people, let's buy stuff for people who really need that, okay? So after the service, if you're so inclined, come up and grab one of those and just bring the stuff here. And so let's sing our song, Welcoming Our Children Home.